trapped inside the orb chamber, Herbert dryly states, "Recovered Daniel after 1 hour of entrapment." This confused me greatly. I was suffocating within minutes. How could I have lasted an hour? I continued reading the peculiar text. Herbert states his facts without judgment or passion, but suddenly I could read frustration into his text. He pushed his men to investigate the underground tomb, an effort which seems to have strained the minds of his men. Madness spread through the ranks, and Herbert had to take some extreme measures to continue. He finally visits the chamber himself, where he retrieves the orb to the surface. His account confuses me greatly. If he has the orb, what are those pieces in my drawing room?
Dun, dun, dun. More taunting nice shirts.
Be here.
Thing has some claws on it. Jesus.
July 4th, 1839. It's done. The orb is assembled. I was awakened by an exhausting nightmare. Shaking and sweating, I retired to the drawing room with a cup of tea. The relic pieces lay spread across the table as I'd left them, but somehow I knew how it was supposed to be. I fetched the tar, which I had prepared to fix the pieces together, and without fault I joined them, producing the orb I remembered so clearly. The tar proved unnecessary. It was pushed out from the joining pieces as they merged on their own, with no adhesive. The ancient stone relic now rests on my table. Its immaculate surface and perfect shape could have been molded by a factory. This is all too strange.
Now I'm paranoid as shit. It's a bunny. There you go, bunny. This feels like it'd be important if it were set at anything other than Lovely. That wasn't there earlier. Fucking creepy baby thing. Just kind of wish this game would give me a clue as to who the fuck Mr. Creepy Claus and Groany and Waterman are. Oh great, now we're back to the dogs barking and the teeth grinding. They used to be people. Now they've got claws. Statue of the sword. Okay, no hiding places. Light. The one with the sword? Oh, I didn't get a good look at him. I was too busy freaking out the first time I saw him. Is there like something in game that I'm missing that tells me about this, or? To my most trusted student and friend, John Weyer. The most remarkable thing happened as I was traveling through the Prussian woods this summer. I finally found one of the orbs I've been looking for the last 20-odd years. It is as inexplicable as the Heliodromus described it in the Hortus Conclusus. It was told about an underground Mithrak temple crowned with the unearthly artifact. The orb was big enough to fill my cupped hands, and the textures were smooth and jagged. Its colors washed, while rich contrast is not enough to describe its nature. It was an impossibility, artificial paradox captured within the stone. Staying in a nearby village called Altstadt, investigating one of the antiquated trails when I finally found the cavern. As you can understand, this was an important discovery of my life, but it has become my greatest fear. As I entered the underground chamber, I could feel that I was trespassing. Because of my curiosity, I did my best to fight these instincts and fetch the orb from its place. I scrambled out of the chamber into the woods. You know, I wonder if they're all the dudes that were down in the wine cellar when they were poisoned from the fucked up wine. Because they were talking about, like, bleeding from their eyes and bones coming out of their skin and shit like that. So, I mean, like, Mr. Claus Man could just be, like, bones coming out of his hands. I stumbled upon some men fishing in the lake. I tried to warn them as I passed, but fortunately they remained as I continued my escape. When I heard their cry of pain, felt a tremendous sense of relief, thinking I would be spared. Suddenly, blue shimmering light engulfed me, and the colors of the forest washed away. Kept running through bleak surroundings. The trees had turned charcoal black. Leaves of cinder, the ground covered in murky water. I pressed on through the drenched line. I heard pleading screams in the distance, and I joined as pain and fear overtook me. I felt the ground gasping for air. Certainly must sound strange, but I've been carried miles away across the Alps to a grassy field outside Genoa. Guardian had taken the orb from me, but still until this day I fear its return. Sometimes I lay at night, listening for the fear of its return. Oh, howling cry I heard in the forest. It had been a decade I still haven't been able to write about the incident. Huh. Henrik Cornelius Agrippa. So these orbs are bad. bad orbs. Totally feels like there should be like a tinderbox or some shit in here. Scary event in 3, 2, 1. Really? Yeah, I hear the dogs. Sounds like they're getting the shit kicked out of them. Oh. Dog's barking. My least favorite part of Resident Evil was at the very, very fucking beginning when the dogs jump through the windows.
Let's see what you have to offer. What a mess. I should have sharpened the saw, but I can sense it. It's definitely there.
Swear to God, if some dog just comes barreling through, I am not going to be able to take that. I hate dogs. Chambers of the human skull, dog's spine. So, human... Don't want to read this letter. After a short study, it is clear that the agitation found among humans can be found in the dog. Fear and pain-induced stress, which seems to trigger an endogenous response, causing the animal to burst with energy. I believe the catalyst is produced in the brain. It is difficult to determine exactly what it is, but I can sense it. It reeks of cosmic genesis. There's an inherent problem in harvesting this energy since the creature is bound to die from the exercise. We must refine this process of torture to enable any real work to be done. More experiments must be performed, but it seems that only human beings are able to produce the amount necessary. It might be that their ability to appreciate the severity of the process that ultimately augments the experience of their terror. Holy fuck! Further disappointment. The latest findings yield nothing. I'm unable to grasp their inner workings of life and its relation to power I sense within it. I shall pursue more books. Suspect it will be in vain, since no research has been made. In my particular interest, I must attempt to fill that void myself. Clearly humans emanate more of the energy I seek, but I hope animals will. That's the locomotion picture. Good night, Mark. Oh! Should not have opened that cupboard. To be or not to be? That is the question. What is nobler in the mind? Yada yada yada.